This is Talkin Hoopz, the show that discusses real NBA stories, gives you all the latest rumors, and gets you into heated debates.
It's dunks and layups. How many of his points have been jump shots? 0.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
0.
It's not happening. Not in this NBA. Maybe in the fantasy NBA that they're playing in, but not in this NBA.
We're going to challenge each other in practice.
We talking about practice, not a game.
Once the game starts, I mean, it's going to be easy.
You better get off whatever you're smoking.
Strap in, get your popcorn, put your headphones on.
This is Talkin Hoopz.
It's really good to checking out Talkin Hoopz. Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz, the official talk show of NBA Miami.
Talkin Hoopz starts right now.
Talkin Hoopz. TalkinHoops.com. AJ, Kyle, former NBA player, and for the Miami Heat, Mark Strickland, hanging with us for the show. A lot going on in the world of basketball. A lot to talk about. Got to shout out to our partners, MBRPA Miami chapter, MBRPAMiami.com. Check them out. Guys, how was 4th of July? How was it, man?
It was good.
Yeah? Just good?
Yeah, just good. You know, hang out with family, friends, just kick it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Low key.
Yeah. Kyle, what were you up to?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I was up to. I wasn't barbecuing. I wasn't in the pool. I wasn't at the beach. I wasn't with any ladies. I was on Twitter following all the breaking news in the NBA, seeing who's getting dealt, who's getting signed, who's getting dropped. That's what I was doing. I dedicated my whole 4th of July weekend to staying up on the NBA news.
I like it. I like it.
Geeking out. And actually, you know, I got some breaking news right now. I'm on Twitter as we do the show. I'm trying to stay up, you know, as up to date as possible. SNY, which is a local sports station here in the New York area, Adam Zagoria, he contributes to SNY TV and to NBA.com, and he has tweeted out that Ron Artest Sr. spoke with Meta World Peace and tells SNY TV that if amnestied by the Lakers, he will retire. So all the rumors about if Meta World Peace gets amnestied by the Lakers, if he's going to come home to the Knicks, he's a Queens native, maybe he'll play for Brooklyn, you know, he can go to a ton of contenders. No. According to SNY TV now and Adam Zagoria, he will retire if amnestied by LA.
Wow.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's huge.
Smart move, though.
You know.
You think Artest is done? You think he's done for the most part?
Yeah. I think so.
You know, it's one
Unless
thing.
he wants to be like a role player or something.
It's one thing about Artest. He's always been a great defensive player. But I got to tell you, and you know, when he shoots threes, I hold on so tight to my seat. You know, it scares me a little bit because I don't know if they're going in. I don't know if they're going to hit the guy in the stands. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think I've ever seen him hit 2 in a row. You know, I like Ron Artest a lot, but you know what? Maybe that is the best move for him. I think it is time, you know, because essentially that's really what he's become, a great defensive player and a three-point shooter. He doesn't really do anything else anymore.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, go ahead.
He can bang around. And that's what you would really bring him in for, his defense. You know, his defense has probably declined over the past few years as opposed to where he was. He's pretty much become a mediocre defensive player and a below-average three-point shooter.
Right.
But at the same time, I think he's a guy that you want on your team at the end of the day. He's not going to back down from anybody. He's going to give you. I've never seen. You know, I'm not in L.A., but all the Laker games that I've seen, I've never seen him take a playoff.
Yeah.
He runs down the court every time. And he seems like he's matured a lot to the point to where he'd be a positive voice in the locker room and sort of get some young guys in place. So as a Knicks fan or a fan of any team, I think he'd be a welcome addition. You don't turn a guy like Meta World Peace down because of his age. Right. And going off of last season, he can still play. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the NBA right now who can't play and still play.
Right. Well, now let's shift. There's another player just signed a deal with the Warriors today. That's Jermaine O'Neal. Guy's been in the league 18 years. Mark, you've played against Jermaine O'Neal, so I mean, you know his game obviously a lot better than Kyle and I. But what has he become now? Like, where do you see him contributing?
I think he's just a locker room guy. Somebody, he's a veteran. He can help younger guys. A lot of teams have a veteran player that's been in the league a long time, kind of like guide. and be like a mentor to some of the younger guys.
Right.
He can do maybe like the Kurt Thomas, with the Knicks last year, be in and out. Some games he'll play a lot. He's a good guy to bring out the bench, but I don't see him being anything more than that. But he's always been a great locker room guy. He was a great player, especially when he was in Indiana.
Yeah.
And I think he could be used for that. I think this will probably be his last year, maybe. I mean, the league is kind of watered down with bigs now because when you got LeBron and Melo playing the 4, and sometimes LeBron plays the 5 at certain times. The league is getting small. So anytime you can have a big body for fouls, you can use him for that. But he's also, he can be a leader for younger players.
Jermaine O'Neal, to me, is somebody who's just there for insurance. As an insurance policy for Andrew Bogut. He's played, I believe, 44 games total over the past 2 seasons. So, over the past 2 years, he hasn't even put in a full year. So if Jermaine O'Neal can come in and give him 15 to 20 minutes off the bench, I think that's all they're looking for.
Yeah.
And he's been a lot better health-wise over the past few seasons also, O'Neal. So the Warriors are looking good, though. They bring in Jermaine O'Neal to take the pressure off Bogut. They bring in Mo Spates.
Yeah.
They signed Tony Douglas also today.
This team's looking to make some noise next season for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and then don't forget, the biggest acquisition for them, Andre Iguodala.
Which is crazy. I mean, that's just insane,
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they couldn't get something done with Dwight Howard after that move. Or if they didn't have the money, whatever it was, they couldn't, the trade assets, at least the Lakers, they wouldn't get completely screwed and just not having anyone right now. And
that's true.
They do have somebody. They have Chris Kaman now. That's their.
Yeah, they do. They just signed Chris Kaman. I saw that. They're trying to sign Chris Kaman.
Are you a fan of Chris Kaman, Mark?
I thought he was nice years ago, but now no.
Hey, it's true. I mean, you got Chris Kaman, who's probably in the twilight of his career now.
Right.
He gets injured. He came out with some controversial remarks on Dallas last year. He wasn't the happiest of players last year. So, but if you're a Laker fan, or you're Mitch Kupchak, or you're Kobe Bryant, you've got to be saying, this is Plan Z. I mean, this was worst case scenario.
Right.
You go from title contenders last year with Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, and Kobe Bryant to next season of losing Dwight Howard for nothing, bringing in Chris Kaman, and Pau Gasol, who they wanted to trade since they got him, it seems like, now is the focal point of their offense. There's no Dwight Howard.
And he should be the focal point of his offense. He should be the focal point. Okay, the guy could do it all. He could pass. He could shoot. He could play the post. I'm a fan of Pau Gasol. Now, is he the best defender in the league? No. Is he really good defender? No. But the guy could do so much for your team. He's like. You see what guys like Boris Diaw could do. Pau Gasol does that times, 50, 60. I mean, these are definitely guys you need to have and run the offense through, especially when Kobe's not playing. Especially when Kobe's not playing.
I think they did that when they won the championship a couple of years. He was more on the post. He was more involved offensively, and I think that helped him out because he's a mismatch.
Yeah. I mean, look,
mismatch. Yeah.
Pal had every right, in my opinion, to be pissed at the way he was utilized this season. I don't know why.
Horrible.
The Coach D'Antoni didn't use Pal the way he should have. And it's not like rocket science with this team. On paper, with the weapons they had with Dwight, with Steve Nash. Now, granted, Nash was injured. I'm thinking, look, Mike Brown. He did the whole Princeton offense thing. That was stupid. I don't know what we were thinking with that. Okay, This isn't college. This is the NBA. I don't know why we're even trying to run that. Okay. Then D'Antoni comes in, and in my head, I'm going, all right, a free-flowing system. Anybody could do whatever they want in his system, pretty much. Okay, all the numbers go up. Everybody, look at Earl Clark. He had a great year because he played in the D'Antoni system. Why D'Antoni could not get Dwight Howard where he was supposed to be and Pau Gasol to where he was supposed to be, I don't get it. I don't understand. And to me, they should just get rid of D'Antoni. As much as I like him, they should get rid of D'Antoni, get a different coach. These guys, it's like a video game. Just go out and play basketball. If pass to Dwight in the post. Well, not that he's there anymore. If Dwight doesn't have it, he dishes it out to all their shooters. It's not hard. Okay?
What shooters?
It's not rocket science.
What shooters? They don't have shooters. What shooters?
I mean, look, last season, we're looking at Jody Meeks, And
okay.
again, he wasn't getting the touches this guy needed to get. All right, they needed.
Jody Meeks needed to get touches with Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, Dwight Howard, and Kobe Bryant.
Only because if you have a guy dominating the post, and he's getting double team, triple team, he's got someone to dish it out to. Jody Meeks is getting the ball right next to Kobe Bryant, and then he's just chucking a three. There's no rotation. There's no set. It's stupid. It's just pointless.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying he should dish it out to his shooters,
well,
and he doesn't have
their shooters weren't in the right spot because the big guys weren't set the way they were supposed to be. Look, you can't just play part of a team the right way and part of the team the wrong. You got to all be on the same page here. And Mark, you know better than anybody, if they're playing with a great team in Miami, chemistry is the key. All right, guys got to be on the same page. Got to be.
Yeah, at least 8 of you guys in playing got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
It's not going to work unless people got to know where they are on the court. People have to know strength and weaknesses of all players. It was just a clutter box out there in L.A. last year. You got Gasol on the perimeter, all the other guys on the perimeter. Dwight is in the post by himself. He's getting double teamed. It's like they never practiced it. It was just like, okay, if you get double teamed, just find the open guy and pass to the open guy.
Yeah.
Here's what I say for the Lakers, and if I was GM, this is exactly what I'd do. I would amnesty Ron Artest or Meta World Peace, and if he retires, he retires. Thanks for helping us win that championship. Thanks for helping for all your help. Pau Gasol, I'm trading Pau Gasol.
Got to get some young pieces.
Draft pick out of him because you know what? Next year's draft class, there's a potential 3 to 5 guys that can be instant all-stars. I mean, the draft class is stacked next year. You're not going to win this year. Not with all the additions the Clippers made. The Spurs is still there. The Warriors got better. The Pelicans got better. The Pelicans may be better than the Lakers next year.
And you know what? I agree with you guys. It's time to trade Pau Gasol. You could still get some good talent for him. He's still a valuable asset to any team he goes to. Any team he goes to. And, I think the Celtics messed up when they didn't get rid of Pierce and Garnett halfway through the season. Because they had some nice offers on the table involving some young talent. And look, I'm not knocking the talent they got this season. They did get some good draft picks for next season too. But, there was talks about Harrison Barnes, DeAndre Jordan as a young center. You had good deals on the table. You could have was it all worth it getting eliminated in the first round to keep these guys? The Lakers should do it now. Get it over with. You're not going to win a title this season. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Might not make the playoffs.
Exactly. So, in my opinion, it's time to rebuild in L.A., start from scratch. And look, as good as Kobe still is at his age, he's on his way out of the league. I think it's safe to say his best years are behind him.
Yeah, if you're going to chase if you're just going to chase a championship for Kobe Bryant's sake, then you're not doing what's best for the franchise. If you're just going to keep the team now and say, hey, we're not going to do that to Kobe, then you're not doing what's best for the franchise. If you have a chance to trade Pau Gasol for draft picks, free up money by amnestying Ron Artest, you got to do it. You got to look to the future. Every team has to rebuild. I don't care who you are. At some point, the Heat will have to rebuild. The Lakers are going to have to rebuild. The Knicks will. Everybody has to rebuild at some point. Now, you may as well get an early jump on it.
Now, Mark, I'm going to throw this one your way. Do you think maybe the Lakers should trade Kobe Bryant?
That'll never happen, but Paul Gasol, yes. They'll never trade Kobe. Kobe will never be traded.
While we're on Kobe, he deleted Dwight Howard from his Twitter. He's not following Dwight Howard anymore on Twitter. And it comes out, he says it's nothing personal, but at the end of the day, come on, there's got to be some beef here.
Yeah, there's gonna be a little animosity for sure because he kind of left him high and dry, but it's good he made a decision. I think this time he made the right decision. And instead of dragging it out like he did last summer, not knowing and caring about what other people think, I think he needs to do what's best for him so that he can win. He has to win now, because that's gonna only clear up his name now because his last 2 seasons has been poor for him. He hasn't really been doing anything. He's been injured, then left Orlando high and dry, and now he left the Lakers high and dry. So it's time for him to step up and do something with his career, man. Get some wins. Got to get some championships on his belt.
For sure.
This is Dwight Howard's time, okay? He brought all this on himself. Yeah. He could have handled it way better. I think he'll be the first one to tell you that, especially out in Orlando. He's going to leave, then he stays for the rest of the season. He signs for another. He could have handled that better. Now he goes to L.A. and he sort of does the same thing. He leaves them hanging the entire season.
Right.
This is one of the most storied franchises in all of the NBA, and he's holding them hostage for a season by not telling him what his plans are. Yeah. If he's going to sign, if he's not, what he wants to do with the team. And then he treats the Lakers like every other team in that they have to pitch him.
Yeah.
That's your team. You play for them.
That's ridiculous. It's a little...
You telling them straight up.
Yeah. And the way the meeting went, too, reports that he didn't even look at the management, he didn't even want to be there. A lot of reports with that, too. Now, how accurate that is, we'll never know for sure. We weren't in the room with everyone. But
hey, say what you want about the pressure in L.A. I think the pressure is tenfold now that he's going to Houston because now everybody expects him to win.
Right.
He's had his grace period of, all right, he was on a bad Orlando team. He went to the Lakers for 1 year and it didn't work out. How long does he keep getting the pass until people start looking at him like LeBron before LeBron won his championship? Everybody was giving LeBron that treatment of, hey, how can you be the king when you don't even have a ring?
Right.
You got to do this. You got to go to a super team to win. Houston isn't the same type of big three as they have out in Miami.
Right.
Yeah.
But you got James Harden, who's a top 5 to 10 player in the league, and then you got a team that put up the second most points in the league last year.
Yeah.
I think they were second in the league in points per game, 6th in the league in assists.
Listen, look, I honestly, and Mark, I'm going to also shoot this one to you again, but I like Houston's team, but I still feel like they're missing something to put them over the top, and more, not their starting lineup, more off their bench. I think they need maybe a swingman or something, guy like Ray Allen or with that caliber play. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to need somebody coming off the bench. They need a couple of players coming off the bench, and I think they need an extra added piece to the starting lineup as well. Maybe like a better three-man or something. I don't know. I mean, but they're close. They're closer than people think. I know.
Oh, for
with
sure.
Those two pieces with James Harden and you have Dwight Howard, I mean, you're closer than you think, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, their swingman is probably going to be Francisco Garcia. He comes back.
Yeah.
Right. But he's not sixth man of the year candidate here. I mean, look, let's face the facts
Why do you need a sixth man of the year candidate?
Yeah, I don't know.
They need another piece. They need another scoring piece there. They do need another scoring piece as a case, that James Harden's on, because I don't think Jeremy Lin is going to be consistent enough to give him that scoring punch. We've all known that. So they're going to have to add another piece to the starting lineup and definitely going to have to add to the bench for sure.
So here's a team, though, that averaged, I think, 106 points per game last year without Dwight Howard. They were second in the league in points per game last year. I don't think that scoring is going to be their issue. And you move a guy like Amir Asik to the bench.
Right.
Here's a guy who was one of the best centers in the league last year. Now you have him coming off your bench.
Right.
There's your sixth man off the bench. Yeah, centers aren't usually sixth man, but they also don't have centers that drop double-doubles usually coming off the bench.
You know what? What's really scaring me about Houston, though, we go back to the Jeremy Lin conversation. To me, it really comes down to what he did in the playoffs. I mean, the guy averaged 4 points a game and 2 rebounds, 2 assists. This is a starting point guard. There's got to be more production from him, especially in critical games like that. And I know they played OKC, but listen, they won a couple games. Lin's got to step up his play, especially in big games like that. It's just it's unacceptable for a starter in that situation, especially with the money he's making. You got to help out the team a little bit. You can't rely everything on Dwight and James Harden.
Yeah, that's why I told you they need another piece because he's not consistent enough.
Right.
He's shown that over time that he's not consistent enough. So they have to get some type of consistent scorer in there, another third scorer that's going to give them some type of points every night. At least 15 to 18 points a night. They got to have that one piece, that one little piece, and then I like the way that team looks for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the Rockets are just one of the teams that did really well this offseason. The team that I think is going to surprise everybody and make the playoffs and be a relevant team in the playoffs is New Orleans Pelicans. That team, and just recently actually was announced, over the past few hours, I'd say Anthony Morrow is going to join the team also now.
Okay.
You look at a team with a possible starting lineup of Drew Holiday at the point, Eric Gordon at shooting guard, Tyreek Evans at small forward, Ryan Anderson / Anthony Davis at power forward, and then maybe they move one of those guys to center and go small to open up games. That team has the ability to average the most points in the league if Eric Gordon can stay healthy and Tyreek Evans can transition over to the small forward.
And assuming Anthony Davis has a better season coming in than last season.
Look, he was the number 1 pick overall for a reason. His ceiling is as high as anybody in the league, and you have to believe that. He played last year with the Olympic team, so he was able to learn from the best.
Yeah.
I think his ceiling is as high as it can possibly be. Here's a guy that you don't know what kind of potential he has.
Mark wants to say something. I see it. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I just see them being a good regular season team, not a playoff team. Not yet. I mean, they just don't, unless they're super gelling, I just don't see that them having the, there's not enough. I don't see them gelling that fast, and I don't see them having they don't have that maturity yet. They're not mature enough. They're not seasoned. They haven't really got to the playoffs to experience it as a group yet. I think it's going to take some time for them to do that. I mean, they look good on paper. They have a lot of good young talent, but it takes more than that to win in the playoffs. The playoffs is another level. I see them being a good team during the season and maybe making some noise during the season, but other than that, no.
Just like that.
Other than that, no.
Well, you know what? It also
they're called the Pelicans for a reason.
Wait a minute. I have you know what? And it's funny. I have this argument with everyone. And it's like everyone makes fun of that name, but look at some of the other names. Like, look at the Knicks. We're named after Dutch pants. Like, I mean, when you look at it that way, I think the Pelicans got a pretty solid name right there.
Knickerbockers are legendary, though.
Yeah, well, I guess we can argue. Yeah, that's true.
Legendary.
I'll give you that.
The Garden.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. A lot of times when I talk about the Pelicans to people, they're like, "Who the hell are the Pelicans?" They don't even know that New Orleans switched their name over yet.
Right.
But this season they're gonna make sure everybody knows who the Pelicans are. The Pelicans are gonna take flight.
Regular season, yes.
Regular season, the Pelicans are gonna take flight. But
I still can't get over that Eric Gordon doesn't want to be there. I mean, this.
We don't know if that's true now. That was true last season.
Right. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, we don't even know what's going to happen. I think that's why I kind of got to go with Mark on this one. I think regular season's a better way to go with this team than playoffs.
The potential is there. The potential.
Yeah.
If
I do like the coach. I do like Monty Williams a lot. I think he's a good young coach, too.
Yeah, he's a good coach, but, I mean, it's going to take more than just coaching. It's going to take experience. It's going to take them gelling.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. You're talking about 80-some games, then the playoffs is turned up. You still got the Miami Heat, and all these other teams are getting better. So
yeah.
I just don't see them doing that much in the playoffs. Not this season. Maybe 2 seasons from now, yes.
I agree. I agree that they don't have the experience, and I agree that they may be lacking size and rim protection. But the pieces that are there, you have 3 potential guys in the starting lineup that can shoot, score, and handle the ball.
Yeah.
If Eric Gordon could stay healthy, you look at that Drew Holiday. He's 23 years old, coming off of an All-Star season. And that was with no help in Philly last year.
Mark, in case you didn't know, I think Kyle's slowly becoming a Pelicans fan. I think
I noticed that, but they don't have any defense. They got to hold their hat on some type of defense.
That's true. Hey.
They can't stop anybody. They can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And
we just talked about it last week, how the Heat won a championship.
Right.
They didn't really stop anybody.
Right.
They were given a championship. The Pacers gave them 2 games. In the final, San Antonio gave them Game 6. Like, no, they weren't really stopping anybody. I mean, and that team you got to get some stops. Somewhere along the way, you're going to get. They don't have a LeBron.
They landed Noel in the draft. And I was excited for a second when, they were all, it's going to be a block party. They got the Lob City in Clippers land or whatever, and now we come to the Pelicans, and you got Anthony Davis and Noel playing next to each other. I was kind of curious to see how that was going to pan out. I really was. Obviously, how good Noel's going to be, we won't know till probably halfway through the season when he comes back from his injury. But, look, at the end of the day, I'm with you again, Mar. I think defense is critical, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that team. But talent-wise, they do have a lot of young pieces. Maybe in a couple years, this team could be a solid playoff team.
2-3. Going to take Noel a minute. Going to take him a minute. Coming off an injury, and he has to get stronger. He's a little bit too thin.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be tough for him.
Definitely.
It's going to be a rude awakening.
But I still like the deal of getting rid of Noel because of all the uncertainty surrounding him. I mean, here's a guy who makes a living above the rim. That's his whole game is above the rim, blocking shots, catching lobs, dunking the basketball, and he just tore his ACL. How is that going to affect him going forward? That's a huge question mark. Why deal with that? Instead, they bring in Drew Holiday, all-star guard, pair him up with Eric Gordon, who's a career 18-point per game scorer.
Yeah.
Bring Tyreek up. Ryan Anderson hit 213 three-pointers last year from the power forward position. You want to talk about spacing? This team is going to be loaded with scoring next year. And I look at the Warriors as a team with no experience, a team with not a lot of defense. I mean, you had David Lee and Andrew Bogut playing in the paint. They're not known for their defense. Yeah. And yet the Warriors were still able to stretch the Spurs, far into Game 6. Yeah. So I like the Pelicans. Hey, I agree. They got a long way to go. I'm not picking them to win a championship.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. All right, I'm going to be watching some Pelican games this year.
I like the arena design. I'll give them that. It's a nice looking place to play, to come out to and play. It's a nice floor. They did something right there. I love some of the new arenas coming in, and I'm still waiting for Seattle to get back into the league. You know,
man, can't wait. Need that Supersonics. We need them back. At least Seattle would have a team, at least.
Yeah. Plus, their colors were great. The green.
The gold, green.
When Gary Payton played for the Seattle Sonics, I was all over that. Okay. Yeah. I was all over that jersey, those colors. That sometimes I just watched. I used to just watch. I used to purposely just tune into the Knicks Seattle game to just see the arena, to see. Hey, it's Seattle. Yeah.
Hey, as a Knicks fan, I still remember Detlef Schrempf, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Vin Baker.
Yeah, Vin Baker.
Supersonic players.
Wow, we're going old school here.
That was a great team.
Mark, you definitely remember Vin Baker, Mark.
Yeah, I know Vin Baker. I knew him before he got to school. I know he was best in Milwaukee, though.
Yeah.
Played against him several times. He was great in Milwaukee. Very strange body, though. He had like a fat man's body and skinny man legs. And little turtle head. But he could play, though. In Milwaukee, they were pretty good. I liked when he was in Milwaukee. He played well. He was one of the big three. They should have called it the big three then. What was it? Vin Baker, Glenn Robinson, the big dog.
Yeah.
And Ray Allen, right?
Yeah.
Wait. It's funny you bring up though. It's funny you bring up the weird body. There's a couple of players in the NBA where you can't tell if they're in shape or if they just are totally just couch
Pierce
potatoes.
One of them looks like a truck driver.
Who's that?
Killer mad game though. He has mad game. Paul Pierce.
Paul
like
Pierce.
A truck driver. All you need is an old hat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give him a T-shirt, give him an 18-wheeler.
Yeah,
man, he fit right in.
Yeah.
But he's a great player, though. Great off it. The triple threat game is just decent.
Yeah.
He's another guy like that.
And
he's
then,
so deceptive. He doesn't look like
Then there were players like
player.
Brian Scalabrine, who were just like, is this guy in shape? Or, he's running up and down the floor, but like, maybe he's conditioned, but I mean, what is this guy doing? Is he like,
I'll tell you another guy.
We stopping off at Burger King after the games here? Like, what's going on?
I'll tell you another guy. Carmelo Anthony is a hard guy to judge because he wears like a rim protector, but his face is round. Yeah. So you kind of get the feeling that like he's like...
He got a fat boy. He moves like a fat boy.
Yeah.
He moves like a fat boy. That's what it is.
You know what, though? If he is a fat boy, I give that guy a lot of credit. He's pretty damn good for a fat boy.
No, he's quick. That's why you don't know. Like, I don't know. I've never seen, and I'm not going to go on the internet and go looking for it, but I've never seen Melo with his shirt off. Right. I don't know what it looks like under there. So yeah, he could be out of shape, but he doesn't move like it.
If you're just tuning into the show, you're here with AJ, Kyle, former Heat player Mark Strickland, and we are talking about the NBA body types. And I don't know I don't know how we got into this, but it's great. I love it.
Vin Baker started it.
Blame it on Baker.
Yeah, and actually, just to kind of cap off on here, how about there's a player that I remember besides Tractor Trailer, they called him. How about Oliver Miller? One of the biggest guys I think I ever saw play in the NBA. Played for the Raptors. I wish we had a picture to put on the screen. That was he must have been like 6'11", 7 foot. The biggest player I've ever seen. The biggest player. Ever.
He can move, though. I like this game. Oliver Miller was decent. I think he's still playing somewhere, actually. He's still playing in like one of the little minor leagues now. Still playing. Yeah, still in shape. Still heavy, though. He was really heavy at one point. Then he lost the weight. Then he put back on. It's kind of hard for those. He's kind of like a Ike Austin type of guy.
Right.
You have to consistently work out to keep the weight down once you stop. you just balloon up. So
I got some numbers on Oliver Miller, and this is according to his Wikipedia page, so I don't know the last time this was updated, but we got Oliver Miller listed at 6'9", weighing 315 pounds.
Damn.
Wow. So, the big
he's big
O,
for it.
as they
Yeah,
call
he's a big O, for sure.
the big O, and that
Big
doesn't,
O.
or maybe it stands for the big overweight, but, Hey, if you're in the NBA, you're doing something right. I don't care if 400 pounds.
Oh, for sure.
He got many checks, and he played for many teams, so he wants something right.
I want to touch on one more player while we're on this topic, and that's Eddie Curry, all right? And Mark, you saw him play for the Heat. Guy came to Miami in shape for the most part. He definitely, had lost a ton of weight from his New York days, and it bothers me that they even cut him.
I was surprised that they didn't play him much because everybody was hearing that he was in shape, that he was getting his body right. Seen him a couple of times around. He looked in shape. He looked fit. He played well when they put him in the game at the end of the game.
And you know what?
He never played.
Dallas picked him up, and they actually, first game of the season, they had started him against the Lakers. He had a great game for the production, the amount of minutes he was in there. I remember reading the stats, and I was just in shock that they waived him like the next day. I couldn't believe it. I was just... I was in shock.
Maybe it was attitude or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I was surprised that he didn't get as many minutes for the Heat.
I don't know the rep he has, but when I met him when he was with the Knicks, one of the nicest guys I've ever come across. Seriously,
Seems really cool.
Really
Seems like
cool
a really
guy.
Quiet guy.
Yeah,
seems really quiet.
Really nice guy. And, I just feel bad. I don't know what he's doing now, actually. I don't know if he's playing overseas. I don't know if he's trying to still jump on with a team. I'm surprised a team like Charlotte.
He's in China, I think.
Yeah, that seems to be where everybody goes.
I think he's in China, yeah.
It seems to be where everybody goes.
Yeah, everyone's going to China.
Yeah, but I'm surprised a team like Charlotte, didn't give him a shot or something. Just a team that could just maybe use a big guy or something. Now, obviously, they got Al Jefferson. But, I was really surprised that Eddie Curry's no longer in the NBA.
Sometimes the stigma stays with you. Eddie Curry was known as a guy who didn't put a lot of effort into developing his game. Took a lot of time off. Didn't go into the weight room, put on a lot of weight. And the same thing with Delonte West. Delonte West can play.
Yeah.
He has a negative thing about it. Not over the time.
We're going to take a quick break. Stick around. Talkin Hoops. TalkinHoops.com.
Don't foul out. Talkin Hoops will be right back.
I'm Mark Sanchez with a message for women. This is the actual sound of my heartbeat. I'm sharing my heart to let you know that the symptoms of women's heart attacks can be different from men's. Please learn more. All it takes is a few minutes of your time in return for years of healthy life. That's a deal even my agent couldn't negotiate. Cover your heart. Learn more. CBS cares.
The new free CBS radio app streams your favorite CBS radio stations, as well as all your favorite AOL and Yahoo music stations directly to your iPhone, iPod Touch, and BlackBerry Bold. With 30 genres of professionally programmed stations at your fingertips, you can hear whatever you want, whenever you want. Stations like K-Rock, 1010 Wins, WFAN, AMP, and over 600 others. Now you can easily take your favorite stations with you on the go. The CBS radio app is everything you wanted from streaming radio and a whole lot more. Go to cbsradio.com/mobile to download your app today.
This is Talkin Hoops.
Like shrinking donkey.
The show that discusses real NBA stories, gives you all the latest rumors, and gets you into heated debates.
Where's Chris Bosh? Where's playoffs Bosh? Where's playoffs? He's not in the playoffs. Steve Nash played Bosh would be in the playoffs. Chris Bosh, he's not even in the first round of the playoffs. Kamari's already in the second. You're making me sweat. It's 90 degrees in here.
Hear from players past and present, like former NBA star Olden Polynice.
I'm a great cook.
Really? What's your specialty? What do you like cooking?
Mostly Italian, but I can pretty much cook anything.
How's your French toast skills?
French toast? Oh, yeah. I need to have my kids on the phone right now.
Watch us live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TalkinHoops.com.
Catch you on the rebound.
Sassy!
This week's episode, Bobcat in the Cave.
Gosh, Johnny, playing in the cave sure is neat. Oh boy, a kitty cat. Sassy, the kitty cat's yelling. What, Sassy? It's not a kitty, it's a bobcat? every year? And with millions of healthy cats to choose from, it's a shame more people don't adopt from shelters?
This bobcat, Abby! Help, Sassy!
Why bother? We'll just get into more trouble tomorrow?
What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nuts!
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
Hey guys, this is AJ. Want to talk more hoops? To bring the show into overtime, check out TalkinHoopz.com. Catch you on the rebound.
Welcome back to Talkin Hoopz.
About 15 players on the team. 14 get along.
Now here's a guy who likes to dunk
on his 8.5-foot rim. Take it away, AJ.
Talkin Hoopz, TalkinHoopz.com, MBRPA Miami chapter, MBRPAMiami.com. And actually, as we get back into the show here, I thought it'd actually be a good idea for us to kind of talk about what the MBRPA Miami chapter is, so everybody knows. So, Mark, I'm actually going to throw this one to you. Mm-hmm. Why don't you sum up for all our listeners exactly what the MBRPA Miami is?
The National Basketball Retired Players Association. Well, basically what we're trying to do is just give back to the community using a lot of ex-NBA players. We do visits. We do school visits. We do Talkin Hoopz. We do a lot of basketball camps, things of that nature. We get together as a group to talk about the things that we can do to help the community, things that we can do to help each other out. Some guys own companies, some guys has jobs with NBA teams, and they can help other players, obtain their goals, find out what their interests are, and try to help them as well. It's all a helping tool to try to get to help people, help kids, help the neighborhoods, and also help ex-players.
Yeah, and they are also the official partner of Talkin Hoopz and Talkin
Hoopz.
And TalkinHoopz.com, that's right.
Yes.
So, MBRPAMiami.com, check them out. A lot of great stuff happening with that group. And guys, getting back into the conversation, we're going to shift to our beloved Knicks, as Mark likes to refer to them as. And talk a little Carmelo Anthony right here, okay? Besides that he could be a fat boy in whatever we were talking about before. He could be. But, Kyle, Carmelo Anthony, what do you got for us, man?
Well, as most people know, he can opt out of his contract with the Knicks after next season. And there's a lot of talk now that, including from Stephen A. Smith of ESPN, that it's 50-50. He's considering going to the Lakers, that he could end up in L.A. He and Kobe Bryant are good friends, no secret there. He can team up, and they've, I'm sure, talked about playing with each other in the past. They have played with each other on the Olympic team. And Kobe, nearing the end of his career, Melo can become the face of the Lakers franchise now. He can be the next guy in line. But at the same time, it's like, well, you're the face of the New York franchise right now. Are you going to bail on New York and run to L.A. because things aren't working out? They've had a lot of chances to win, and they just haven't gotten it done. So it's going to be really interesting. The rumors are going to start, fairly soon, especially during the season. It happened, LeBron James is also the option to opt out, I believe, after next season. But after winning back-to-back titles, I don't think people are going to be talking about that too much. Melo has a different situation on his hands, obviously.
Yeah, I can see him doing that. I can see him clearly jumping to L.A. I mean, that's something that he would do. It'd be good for his wife. I think he's more of a family person. L.A. is a good place. I know him and Kobe are really good friends, like you said. I think it'd be a good move for him. I mean, especially if Amari Stoudemire is still there. The Knicks will still have a great piece there. I mean, they were winning before the Carmelo trade. I think they were a better team than when they had him there, actually. It was more chemistry and it was better defense. He was more enthused about playing defense and being that face of the New York Knicks organization before Melo came. So I could see that happening, Melo going to L.A. I think it'd be a good move for the league as well. You got two players in New York that really can't play together. You can leave one there. You still got a good player there, and the Knicks are still to be playing well. And then you got somebody who Kobe could pass the torch to, like Carmelo Anthony playing for the Lakers.
You know what, Mark?
I think I like that for the league.
I think also, though, from a Knicks fan standpoint, I think as good as Amari was that season, I think we got very lucky in one. he was in a system that he was very comfortable with, and 2, he stayed healthy. No one gave him the contract he wanted because Amari, could never stay healthy. His knees weren't going to be insured. There was a lot of problems with that. The Knicks finally took a risk and said, we're going to bring you in. And yeah, it was awesome. But, you're seeing the last 2 seasons how quickly the injuries can become a problem and why it's been so hard even trying to trade him or move him. So, I agree. I think Melo, there's a shot that he goes to L.A., but at the end of the day, I still feel like his heart's with the Knicks. He really pushed to come to New York, and I can't see him leaving the orange and blue. I really, it's one of the most emotional nights just having him in a Knick uniform, I think, in a very long time. Having a player as good as Melo before Patrick Ewing, that's big.
You see how they did Patrick Ewing? Dirty. Dirty, man. Dirty. I couldn't believe New York did Patrick Ewing like that. Yeah. Just shipped him off to Seattle.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're actually doing him dirty again, apparently.
Really?
Rumor is that Mike Woodson offered Rasheed Wallace a coaching job.
Really?
Wow.
Where was the offer for Patrick Ewing all of these years?
Boy.
Maybe you don't want to make him a head coach, but I've never seen a report or heard anything of them offering Patrick Ewing an assistant coach job.
Right.
Top assistant job. They gave him the NBA. They offered him the D-League coaching job, and that's kind of a slap in the face for your, the face of your franchise for over a decade.
And right now, their big man coach is Herb Williams, and I'm not knocking Herb Williams. Everyone in New York loves Herb Williams, but you gotta think when you have an opportunity to get Patrick Ewing as an assistant coach, especially working with a guy like Tyson Chandler or something, that would be huge. Or even a guy like Charles Oakley, that would be huge. I don't know how that all works, but at the end of the day, I think it's a shame that a guy like Patrick Ewing and what he meant to the Knicks and to New York is not with the team right now. I
want to know what the problem is with Patrick Ewing, because here he's an assistant coach with Orlando all these years.
Yeah.
Nobody gives him a chance for a head coaching job. The Knicks don't give him a look. They only give him a D-League look. And then, he joins Charlotte as an assistant again. Yeah. And then Jason Kidd retires, and a week later he gets a job with the Nets as the head coach.
Yeah.
I don't understand what Patrick Ewing's problem is. Why don't people like Patrick Ewing?
And I never saw Patrick Ewing go over the line before, on the bench. I never saw him as a coach go across the line and get a technical foul in his first game or anything as a coach. Just saying.
He actually looked real relaxed. As a coach,
to
be honest with you, more laid back. He's
Phil Jackson style. That Phil Jackson. I'm just gonna sit there and chill. I like it. But actually, while we're on Jason Kidd, that was crazy what happened over the week. His first technical. As a coach, first game, everything. That should have been a featured video on our site at that point. That was amazing.
Well, he gets technical. He doesn't really know what the rules are. He's running down the court, and he acknowledged that he should have gotten a technical. And he made some. I'll tell you about Jason Kidd. I'll dissect that first game that he coached in the D-League a little bit. In that he decided to go to sort of like a hack-a-player at the end of the game, and it's game one of a summer league. You don't really see that tactic used in a summer league game, but he thought it would be good practice for him. But if you watch. You had Lawrence Frank drawing up pretty much all the plays. Jason Kidd was just there. He has a lot of growing to do.
Yeah,
he's going to
as a coach.
Lawrence Frank a lot this year.
Right.
Yeah. They needed him for the X's and O's. They needed him for end of the game situations, timeouts, end of the quarter situations. He's going to have to be that guy who's going to draw it up. Someone similar to Pat Riley and Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy, his job was to do a lot of those special situation stuff. When I played for the Heat, he kind of ran the huddle and did all the drawing up. Not to say that Pat Riley couldn't, but Pat Riley was more of a game. He was the game guy, but special situations was Stan Van Gundy at the time. So I could see them using, but Jason Kidd's going to have a lot of growing up to do. He's going to have he's going to be a huge adjustment for him trying to be a head coach in the NBA. But he has a lot of help.
Yeah,
he has a lot of help.
And one thing, Kyle said before about Lawrence Frank drawing up, a lot of the plays. I think What's one thing I really didn't think about was, look, Jason Kidd, he went from being a player and following plays in a week to now out of retirement being a head coach. He's got you would think he may have more of a game plan if he really wanted to get into coaching. Do I have any ideas, any plays, anything? He's a great mind. They rank him, top 5 smartest players in NBA history. I mean,
who ranks him top 5
I'm pretty sure ESPN ranked him top 5.
How do they even determine that?
I don't know. We talked about this, all right? But whatever. Bottom line is, it came out that they ranked him top 5 smartest players. Look,
That's absurd.
I don't disagree with you, okay? But that's what it says, okay? And I know that BS that you can find anything on the internet. I know that there's that great commercial with the French model that's like an American guy pretending to be French, whatever.
Bonjour.
But yeah, right. But look, bottom line is, when you hear all these great things about Jason Kidd, people throw that into the conversation. Look, he is a great basketball mind. It's been proven as a player that he's got a great basketball mind, but. And like you said, seen in the first game, his coaches are doing all the work. He's maybe yelling at guys to hustle, do this, do that, and he gets mad at a call. There's a lot he's got to work on. There's a lot he's got to study. He's got to study film in a different way now. Not as
I don't see it lasting long.
Yeah, we'll see. But right now, it's
especially if they start losing early. Look out.
Yeah. Right. This team is built to win right now. This is not a team that he's getting. He's getting a young team that he can grow and develop with.
Right.
They're either going to win now or the trade is going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
So all the pressure is on Jason Kidd to not only perform but perform immediately.
Yeah.
And I don't like the marriage. I just don't.
Oh, it's going to be interesting in Brooklyn, but you gotta love the rivalry that it's bringing to the league. I mean, the Knicks and Nets rivalry; those were great games this season.
That's going to be nice. Especially with the added of KG and Paul Pierce. It's going to be really nice. Oh,
and the Cheerios. And the Honey Nut Cheerios.
I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know what Carmelo Anthony's reaction was to the trade when that happens, and then the Knicks bring in Bargnani. I'm dying to know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Bargnani, man, a lot of people don't like the move. I do.
He'll surprise some people.
Orlando with Dwight Howard and Hito Turkoglu a little bit, and that's what I compare it to.
And Mark was saying before that the 3 guys on the Knicks, they don't gel right, especially if you single out the 2, Melo and Amari Stoudemire. As much as I thought this move was like Isaiah Thomas, if Bargnani stays healthy and Woodson utilizes him the right way, and we don't see the coaching that we saw when Doc Rivers outcoached Mike Woodson and then Frank Vogel outcoached Mike Woodson, when we see Bargnani spacing the floor the right way with Carmelo, guy hangs out at the 3-point line, Chandler's down low. I think they complement each other a lot better than Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony.
Discipline, though. I told you, the key with the Knicks is discipline. They don't have a lot of discipline. The players that they have are not disciplined players. J.R. Smith is not a disciplined player. Melo is not a disciplined player.
You got to think J.R. is a little bit more disciplined than he's been in the past. I mean, they think this has been the best coach for him.
Only difference, he's coming off the bench. He's being more selective with his shots, but defensively he gambles too much. That's what I'm saying. The problem with the Knicks is not offense; it's just that they can't stop anybody, or they go through stretches where the ball doesn't move. That's their problem. It's discipline. They have to stick to what their coach is teaching them is to move, get the ball moving, get everybody involved, and then we'll get to a point in the game where Melo can take over. It can't just be sporadically where Melo is just getting the ball at the top of the key, going one-on-one, or the ball moves one time. You have to get the ball moving, get the defense tired. Same thing with J.R. Smith. He had to start gambling on defense. The Knicks are going to have to get to the point where they're going to have to hold their hat on defense, stopping people. And they have the team to do it. They just don't have the discipline. That's the problem with the Knicks. I like the Knicks. Love the Knicks. I wish the Knicks would have played better last year. I expected them and the Heat to be in the finals. That was my 2 picks. But, the Knicks just don't have enough discipline. They do not have it. They just don't stick to the game plan, and the ball don't move, and they do not play well on the defensive end. Consistently enough.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, to add to that point, they're interested in bringing Chauncey Billups back, and I think that would do wonders for the team, not only because he played with Melo and he has the familiarity, but
if he's healthy and then, he hasn't played in a year, is he still big shot? Can he move like he did before? That's just, to me, that's bringing in another Kurt Thomas. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just not, what the Knicks need. The Knicks need a jolt of energy.
Yeah.
They need some usefulness. They need a leader. They need somebody has to be the leader. Either it's going to be Carmelo Anthony or it's going to be Amari Stoudemire. Somebody's going to have to be like, look, we're going to have to play defense. We're going to have to start gambling on defense, and we're going to have the ball moving. Somebody's going to have to lead.
And the effort. I think the effort from the Knicks has to be there every night. And when you know, you talked about Kurt Thomas. When you see a guy, he broke his foot, and he's playing out in the game with a broken foot, had one of his best games of the season, and then that was it. He was done after that game, and they waived him because of his injury. But when you see a guy like Kurt Thomas going out there playing with a broken foot, how can you as a team just sit there every game and not bring it every night? I don't get it. I just
dealing with a different generation.
It's mind-blowing.
Coaching. I coached on every level. You're dealing with a different generation of kids. It's just a different generation. It's different.
All right.
It's different. Yeah, it's different.
They need somebody to hold them accountable. They need somebody to go to Melo and say, "Hey, look, you're not playing defense, babe." You know, they need somebody to do that, and that's kind of why I thought Chauncey Billups would be good. Because he can hold guys accountable on the court. Look, the Knicks don't have any money. The most they can offer is vet minimums at this point.
Right.
So their options are very, very limited as to who they can bring in and what they can do. They can't do sign and trades because they're over the cap. Yeah. And if you're over the cap, you can't do a sign and trade. So
they're kind of stuck.
They're stuck. So looking at their options, it's like, well, will Elton Brand take a veteran minimum? Probably not. You know,
right.
Will Chauncey Billups do it? Maybe not.
Yeah.
They're hoping to God that they could get someone to take the veterans minimum. Anybody.
They're looking at Kenya Martin. They're looking at bringing Kenya Martin back now. He's kind of been the forgotten guy. He may have been the Knicks' best defensive player last season.
Yeah. I mean, when he came aboard, that's for sure. He was big on. He was big when Chandler was injured. Someone had to guard the paint, you know. And the fact that he's undersized and able to do what he does, I like the intensity he brings. You know, I'm surprised Miami didn't pick him up, and not to knock the Birdman, but I'm just surprised they didn't pick up.
It was between those two. It was between those two, but he chose the Knicks.
Yeah,
he chose the Knicks.
Yeah,
because he wanted to be with Melo and J.R. Smith, his Denver boys. Yeah. So he chose the Knicks, and they was like, okay, we're gonna get Birdman, and we're gonna win this championship without you.
And you know, while we're on let's shift to your beloved Heat, okay, for a second. We were talking about our Knicks. Let's go to your beloved Heat here.
Yeah.
Are you nervous that, look, I know they're the world champs, but they haven't done anything. And I don't know if you feel that they need to or something, but other teams are making adjustments here. Do you think the Heat need to do anything? They didn't even have a pick in this draft.
Yeah, I know. They'll find something. They'll find a player to win because everybody wants to come down here and play. Now, you know, people are taking less money to play for a championship team.
Plus, it's South Beach. I mean, come on.
You know, it's Miami. You know, especially they can always get a veteran guy that's towards the end of his career. Maybe a Chauncey Billups or might want to come. They don't need that, but, you know, I'm just saying that type of guy, you know.
Right.
Towards the end of his career, hey, I'll be in Miami. I can move my family down, transition into something else, and my family's still in Miami.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't need to do too much. I mean, when you have LeBron and the nucleus they have, what they need to do is get healthy. They need to get rest, and they need to get healthy, which is what Dwayne Wade is doing. He's not touching the ball for a couple of months. I mean, he's doing like rehab stuff. He's getting rest. You know, I think Chris Bosh needs to get rest. I mean, I think he needs to work on his body and get a little bit more bigger so he can be a little bit more physical in the paint. I mean, we're going to bring Birdman back. I mean, it's, you know, they have all the pieces now. It's just about them getting rest,
right?
You know, and then coming back healthy for another run. That's all they need to do.
And you know, Kyle and I, we talk about the big question is, did the Heat win the championship? Or like, you know, we talked about before, were some of these games kind of given to them? You know, the defense was kind of thrown. To me, that says Miami has to make adjustments because they may not be so lucky next year. I know we're talking about guys coming back healthy, but at the same time, there's just other teams making moves right now, you know? Yeah. And I'm not just saying, like, you know, I'm not talking about also just big-name teams or anything, but look, there are some teams in the NBA where they may have a shot at beating Miami in the regular season. That counts as a loss for Miami. You know, that at the end of the day, that comes down to playoff seeding, you know, your overall record.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but I don't see anybody that can beat that team 4 games out of a series. That's the only thing I'm saying. It's been proven over again. Nobody can beat them 4 games out of a series. No way. You may can beat them once or twice. You make it push it to a game 7, you know, but you can't. There's no way you're gonna beat that team 4 games out of 7 games.
Well,
it's not possible.
Does Pat Riley listen to trade offers if a team approaches him about Chris Bosh? You know,
I would, depending on what I'm getting back. Depending on what I'm getting back, I would entertain it. Yes, I would. But I don't think they're going to pull the trigger. No.
And if anything, like, is Miami? What do you think Miami would be looking to do? Are we adding veterans here? Or are we adding young talent? Like, what are we looking to do here? Because you are the world champs. You know, does LeBron re-sign? You know, when his free agency comes. I mean, there's a lot of questions up in the air. Do you start preparing for that now? You know.
Yes, that's a huge decision. You just kind of, I think they're just going to focus in on getting rest and keeping the guys they got and trying to go for another run, and then they'll work on LeBron after this season. They're going to have to.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So,
yeah, I see him doing that. Because only thing, I mean, if D Wade doesn't play if he's playing the way he was playing Game 7 in the final, if he's playing like that the entire playoffs, games are not even close.
Right.
Games are not even. It's not even close. You got to think about that. You know, I know that we're saying that, you know, games were given to them, but, you know, you had a D Wade that wasn't healthy. You got a Chris Bosh that scored 0 points in the championship game.
Yeah.
0 points, and they still beat them. They still won a championship. Still won a championship with one of their big three scoring 0 points. Like, that's how good that team is. And if you got all three of them healthy and playing on one cylinder, man, it's crazy. It's a crazy team. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Then Mario Chalmers is getting better. Then you got Norris Cole coming off. Then I hear the young fella that they picked up coming off the bench. He's playing well. He's going to be an athletic guy. They may use him some. Then you got Birdman returning. Then you got Ray Allen. I mean, it's unstoppable. UD. You got all the pieces. You just got to get healthy.
Yeah.
That team is, I think we brought it up a little bit last week. They're the big three, but their team is stacked and loaded. And if I'm a player that's near the end of my career, absolutely no doubt I'll go play down there. I'll win a ring. I'll hang out in Miami, chill with LeBron. I mean, that sounds like, that's an offer that you rarely get in life, to almost be guaranteed a ring if you join a team.
Right.
Key word is discipline, though.
Discipline.
The Miami Heat is very disciplined.
You know, Mark,
they set a game plan and they stick.
Mark, you're such a coach, Mark. You're such a coach. You should be coaching in the league. You really should.
It's the Pat Riley in me. Man. It's about discipline. You got to stick to the script. Stick to it.
All right, well, wait. Well, we're talking about all these guys and that they're stacked. Listen, there's one other thing we're forgetting here. Age, okay? We're talking about age. Miami Heat, they got a lot of older guys on this team also. Let's not forget Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen. These guys now have to go through another full season. They got to stay healthy. It's not like the playoffs happen in October. They got to go through this whole season, you know? And I just feel like they got to do something. They got to make a move. I like Mike Miller. He had a great playoff run for them. I'd be using him as a trade chip right now. And you know, that's just the way I feel. They got to they need some more they need some more insurance, I think, on this team.
I think they need another big, a defensive big. Shane Battier was getting killed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's too small, man. Like, he's too small to play the 4. Unless he's spreading the defense, which we saw, which hurt us a lot. You know, if he's not making shots, he's not doing anything because he's a liability.
And how about the factor, if let's just say Wade's not with them for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Kyle, let's just say Dwayne Wade doesn't, he's injured towards the end of next season. Where do we go with that?
Go home if you're the Heat.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Bring one of those miracle supersonic seasons out of Ray Allen. That's about the only way that's going to work.
Yeah. And Grant, look, I'm not taking anything away from Ray Allen. I'm just trying to be realistic here and say, look, the Heat won 2 straight. They're going for 3. But I just feel like they would make – I thought they would make one move. Now, look, the trade deadline, maybe something happens depending on how the season plays out. Look, we still got some time. But I don't know. I see – look, they won a championship. Ray Allen got a second ring. That's great. But is he going to be with them come the playoffs? Is he going to be healthy? And, is Dwayne Wade going to be healthy? Because if 2 of those guys aren't there, they're screwed. I got news for you. They're in big trouble. They're in big trouble.
Well, you can say that about any team. If their superstar gets hurt, then the team is...
Oh, 100%. But we're talking about the championship Heat here. We're not talking about any team. We're talking about we're trying to...
Same rules apply. Same rules apply. Whether you're the championship, whether you're the reigning champions or you're the worst team in the league, if you lose your best player, you're going to be in trouble.
Right.
So every team is in the same boat when you consider that. But I think Pat Riley really wants that three-peat. I think that is something that he desires.
Yeah, he wants it.
So So anything that he has to do,
right?
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
And you can expect that to go down.
Well, you can't knock it. He's done a great job so far. So we'll see what happens with the Miami Heat next season. But getting ready to wrap up the show here. It's been real, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you got your daily hoop fix for the week. A lot to still come. Everything becomes official tomorrow. So, gonna be a good show next Tuesday. But until next time, Talkin Hoopz, talkinhoops.com for Mark Strickland, Kyle, AJ, and the whole NBRPA Miami chapter, nbrpamiami.com. Check them out. We'll catch you guys on the rebound.
Until Talkin Hoopz comes back into play, stay connected by getting at us on iTunes. Keep up to date with all the latest basketball news and rumors and check out all our shows by logging on to talkinhoops.com.
Catch you on the rebound.